Sorry, I saw a button where I could put this on my channel, so I was connecting that. So just to put it out there to bring more people into the conversation or whatever,
Yeah.
broadcasting them too. So I'm really lucky with my mechanic, and honestly, like I know what you guys are saying because we've had some bad luck with some of our drivers going to see technicians, right? Myself, I even with my dart truck, I always went to the dealership. And I feel like if they do something there and they screw up, then they have to be held more responsible for it.
Good luck with that.
Right. And so I know, and it's been a little more expensive to do so, but I knew like, okay, I could at least have the most faith that everything was done right.
Yeah.
And taking it to a dealership that deals with that truck, right? So now, of course, I have a warranty to honor. So my truck is definitely going to the dealership for all of its care. And I happen to have gotten lucky and have a great mechanic, a real mechanic up here at this dealership that's about 2.5 miles from my house.
Yeah.
So that's amazing because that's where my new truck is now. And that's where I get my truck worked on too. So the guy is actually known as the international whisperer. So he's really great and knows everything. So
Well, you see, but Shannon, you're fortunate. What you're talking about right now is not the norm, right? What you've
I
got
know.
is the exception to the rule. It's not the norm.
I know.
Guys like me, I've had to, work my way through from going from one type of generational truck to the next, then the next, because since I've been trucking, like let's just use. We started when I came out, they had like the 6NZ cats, they had, mechanical engines. Then they went to the 60 series Detroits. Then they went to the DD15 Detroits. Then, so I've seen the progression of three different types of engines and three different types of technicians that have had to be required to work on them. Right. So, you're lucky to have what you have because unfortunately, it doesn't always work that way.
So let me ask you this, so Wheelburner. I know that you've had multiple trucks. You've had like all your years.
Yeah.
Are you saying that you have not found a great mechanic that you may
I have. As I just stated earlier, like I don't have one at this moment. I think I have found one. I'm building a relationship with him. But in order to build a relationship with him, your truck needs to break down, and I really don't want that to happen, right?
right.
But in the past, yes, I've always had a relationship with various shops, and I've always tried to spread it out. I've tried to have a shop. Like I said, I had a Volvo when I had the Volvo. I had a shop in Gary. I had a shop here. I've got a shop on the East Coast. I'd have one in Abbeville, South Carolina. I'd have shops, and I built a relationship with all of these guys so that at any time I could make that phone call and go, okay, I'm 200 miles out. I'm coming in and this is the problem I've got. And they'd be waiting for me when I got there. That's the relationship you want to build. Don't just rely on one shop and one shop only. Right.
Yeah. So in my position, if I'm going to be out there and I did this with my dart truck, I would start talking to you guys that know more, right? And have places and ask for recommendations. I use the channel for that too, to ask for help. So, that's gotten me out of some situations easier too. The community, like hands down, everything we're talking about today leads back to relationships or everything, right? So maybe because especially if you're in business, man, that's what business is. That's how people, get further is the people that they're in relationship with and working together.
Yeah.
That's why I tell people, man, it's all about relationships.
Email out here and trying to find a mechanic who won't immediately try to screw me over just because I'm a girl.
I'm gonna give you a scenario, right? Oh, go ahead, Brandon. Go ahead. So I had one of my owner operators under my authority, right? His ECM went out. and it was right where we were supposed to go load at, right?
Yeah.
And so, long story short, when we sent him a mobile guy over there, he has an ECM situation. So we pulled his truck and trailer um, behind where we were supposed to load at. I told him, I said, sunflower seeds, I apologize. Um, I told him, I said, look, I said, call a tow truck, get some prices, right? Because you don't know what kind of good deal you have unless you compare, right?
Agreed.
So he called a tow truck and got a price. They wanted $7,000 to tow where we were going to take it, and my tow truck guy charged us $1,200.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Then we went to my shop, and he called for a sale for Peterbilt for that ECM program and all that, and my shop got it cheaper than him going through Peterbilt.
Yeah.
So, and that's how I am with my owner operator, right? That's what you make is what you save. So he gave.
Is that StreamYard or is that?
No, that's him.
Is it me?
Yeah, it's you.
It's me?
Yeah, you're buffering.
Oh shit, am I back?
Yeah, you're back now. But I think
yeah,
one thing
so
you're saying, I take advantage of that. I take advantage of the same thing as well. Like if I was to go to Freightliner and buy, let's just say a turbo, right? So it's going to cost me $6,500, what it's going to cost me to buy it from Freightliner. But if I go to my shop, right, the company that I'm working with, if I go to my shop and they order that same turbo, that turbo is now $5,500. Right. So I take advantage of that every chance I get. You know, I've done it multiple times, whether just for stuff on my truck. If I want this, I need a new driver's seat. Well, I'm not going to Traction and buying a new driver's seat. I'll get the company to order it through their account, and I'll just pay the company, and I'll get it for probably about 25% less. That's just smart business, right? Why would you pay full price? Same with towing. If I need a tow truck, I don't call the nearest tow truck. I call our office. I call our shop foreman, and they order me a tow truck because they get a better price on the tow than I would, right? That's just smart business. That just makes sense to me.
And that's why I tell people that go under my authority is like, you know, you have my connections.
Yeah. Yeah.
You saved 10 grand.
I got no problem with that. I got no problem with somebody taking, you know, as long as they've got the blessing of the person. If by using my name or my authorities or whatever, you know, will get you a cheaper price for something, you go right ahead and do it. You know, we're all about trying to help somebody else save some money.
Well, that's how our fuel discounts work. That's how our tire discounts work. That's how. Right.
Well, the bigger companies, Shannon, get the better prices. Why? Because they've got, you know, in a company that's got 500 trucks is going to get a better fuel discount than a company that's got 5. Right?
Yeah.
Why? Because you're buying so much more fuel, so they're making money. The fuel company's making money in quantity instead of quality, right? So the guy the guy that's got 500 trucks is going to get a 50-cent a gallon discount, whereas the guy that's got 5 trucks is only going to get a 20 cent per gallon discount. I revert back to what I'm talking about with the company that I'm with. They're a bigger company. Like our company got bought out by them. So now I use the parent companies. You know, I use their authorities. I use their purchasing power for tires. I use their purchasing power for fuel, for parts. You name it. I use their purchasing power because it's way bigger than mine as a solo driver, or even with the company that I'm with, which is KBD. But Anderson bought us out. So I've got permission. I use Anderson's accounts for everything. Why? I get better.
That's a benefit to being signed on with the carrier too, right?
It does. Sometimes it does. You know, there's benefits. If you were a single truck, Shannon, by yourself with your own authority, and you had to buy tires, you telling me that you'd pay the same price for tires that you do if you run them through Jeff's Michelin account?
I would pay so much more.
Right.
And I'd pay more for my fuel. I would pay way more for my insurance.
Exactly.
Like, I have so many benefits of being with a team instead of by myself.
Well, do this.
So,
do this.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, SoCal, because you've got a small fleet, and you've got better purchasing power for fuel, tires, parts than me and Shannon do.
For his drivers, yeah.
Exactly.
And it's because of his
I would say
relationship.
that really surprised all you guys. But I would say, and the reason why I'm buffering, because people keep calling my freaking phone, and it's knocking me offline and screwing me all up. This phone won't stop ringing. That's why. So I apologize. But you guys can hear me good right now, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we hear you fine. Yeah.
Okay. Facebook Marketplace. Type in your size tires you need. Like, they got brand new ones, virgin rubber out here going for like $180 a piece, $225 a piece, brand spanking new. No recaps on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
Like, it's incredible what you're gonna find on Facebook Marketplace for connections.
I agree. I don't subscribe to Facebook. I'm not on Facebook. I got rid of my Facebook 2 years ago, so I don't play on social media, SoCal. I have YouTube, and that's pretty much it. I don't have anything else. I've taken myself off of the social media platforms.
Nothing wrong with that.
But Marketplace is great. I just never, honestly, I never thought of that in a million years to try to look for truck things. Never.
It'll blow your mind.
Living in Flint, if I found some brand new virgin diesel tires on the Marketplace, I would definitely assume that they've been stolen from someone else already.
Yeah.
No, they're tire shops. The crazy thing, what's great about the Facebook Marketplace, it's tire shops competing against one another. That's what's so great about social media.
Yeah.
It's tire shops. You go to the tire shop, you go to their tire shop, and you get them put on.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they use that. I thought that was just like personal people.
One thing I don't recommend though is because there's a couple of guys that I know that do this, and I don't know why they keep doing it because it never works out for them. But they keep ordering truck parts off Amazon, like sensors and shit. You know, you're laughing, so you know what I'm talking about, eh? They got these guys, and they'll order an inlet or an outlet knock sensor or a DPF pressure sensor, and they're buying it. Oh yeah, it's $129 right off of Amazon. Then they get it, and it turns into a fucking nightmare for them, right? So if you're one of these guys that see it, yeah, it looks good on Amazon and the price is good, but God's sakes, whatever you do, don't do it. Or eBay, TJ, you're right, eBay as well. Right, just don't do it, for crying out loud.
So,
here's a question.
Do it because if Marketplace is a good place to do it because they're competing with other people, then that's a genuine competition, and that's fine. But if you're buying if you're buying it off eBay, you're getting some Chinese knockoff, some Chinese piece crap knockoff. Now, mind you, all of our parts are Chinese anyway, but now you're getting the Chinese knockoff of a Chinese knockoff. So, you literally.
And on top of that, when it's screwed up, you got to call this Chinese number and talk Chinese.
Exactly. So unless you can fucking speak Chinese, you're screwed. It'll be the best $129 you never spent. Give me a break, right?
Let me throw this out here to the community because I'm in need of I want to get one of those drift mattresses for Elvin's truck. Where do you think is the best place to buy that? Because I was looking at Rainey's, and so far I don't know if there's a better place. So if anybody knows, throw me a message or say something because
I don't know about that kind of mattress, but I know the one I put in this truck though, Shannon. Every time drivers come in, sit down, and all that kind of stuff, they're like, "Damn, where did you get that mattress?" And I just smile.
Yeah, what is it?
I'll have to send it to you.
But yeah, send it to me because I just bought new truck mattresses for my truck, but I got them on a deal because I negotiated a deal with the people that I met at the truck show in Louisville. But however, we just got delivery of this new truck, so now I'm like, okay, I'm trying to set Elvin up in all comfort and make sure he's all good to go. And so I have been told by several drivers that that drift mattress is the best. So that's why I was thinking about putting that in there, because for
Well,
sure.
I heard the new purple mattress was the best. Like the
Nope,
drift was
nope,
good.
nope. This one's better
No.
than this. This is gonna be crazy, right? Because the guy, one of my guys, he's a purple fan, right? And he went on my mattress and was checking it out. He's like, "Damn, man, it's better than a purple mattress." I'm trying to tell you.
Well, you
And
got
it's not even that expensive.
Shannon, what is it you have on your bed?
This mattress,
my mattress is from a company in Louisiana. It's I can't remember the name of it. It's nothing anybody would recognize, but it's built for trucks, and it's got the the edge like the drift mattress has that doesn't collapse.
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
sit in it all the time and all that, and it's
Is
got
this-
bamboo. It's got bamboo covering, and it's dual sided with cushy side and then an extra firm side, so you can flip it as you want to.
Is this
So-
the new one? Is this the new one that you bought in Louisville like a couple months ago?
Yeah. I bought.
What is it you had? What is it you had in your truck before that? Because I can lay claim to being probably the first man that's ever laid down in Shannon Thomas's bed. Because I was in her. Hey! I say that with pride or not, but
Dar knows.
Dar knows all of. My wife knows all about it, and she was right on board with it. Don't get me wrong. But let me just say, when I was in your truck that night or that day, I laid on your bed, right? Remember, I was laying down on your bed, and it was like, God damn, like I don't know what that was, whether that was just the stock mattress or whatever, but your bed was so comfortable. Like I've been trying to recreate that in my own bed. So what the hell did you have in there before you just bought the one you got now?
Okay, so that at that time that was the what I call the jail mattress, the one that comes with the truck, the factory mattress.
Yeah.
And I bought a 4-inch memory foam mattress. It was only 4 inches, and I put that on top.
Okay.
And so that's what I did, because I didn't have set aside the funds to go spend money on a mattress, because I was trying to just be cheap and do that way.
Yeah.
But that has since worn out enough to where I was like, okay, I made an executive decision. Like, I'm going to go buy myself some good mattresses. So when the truck show was coming up, I'm like, hey, I had an idea. I know that I can negotiate a deal, and there's going to be some truck mattress people there, and I'm going to go on the last day, and I'm going to get some off their hands for cheap, right? And that's exactly.
Yeah, that's good thinking.
So I bought two. These mattresses are $812 normal price by themselves each. I got one for the bottom, the big one for the bottom bunk, and the one for the top bunk for $825.
Yeah.
Out the door, and wheeled it out the door from the truck show in my wagon.
Well, I remember you losing the wrestling match trying to put the mattress in your truck. It was funny as hell watching you do it.
Yeah.
Because I think the mattress won the first 2 rounds, but you came back in the last round and won the fight. But
yeah, I never give up, But so now we have another international, right? That I think it's very important. The comfort of a mattress is very important to your performance, and your well-being and your alertness while behind the wheel. So it's an important thing to me, and I want to make sure that Elvin is going to be comfortable in the new truck, and I've been trying to do everything to do that. To set him up for success. So I was like, okay, well, the best is the best. If the drift is the best, I know that it's going to run about $700 to get a drift mattress. And I also know that they sell them online, or maybe they don't anymore, but I remember doing my research. They were cheaper at, like, if you got them from the Iowa 80, they're cheaper than the online price. So, but now SoCal's coming in here dropping a bomb like there's a new, better.
I want to know the reason I'm going down this direction. I'm going this direction because yours was good, but if SoCal's got something better, I want to know what it is. So
do I. because those new mattresses I just bought are $800 a piece. If you go buy them,
I think I paid like $300-$400 for mine. And
okay, well,
when you lay on this thing, you don't even feel you're laying on a mattress. You're like in a cloud.
Well, that's what I need. I need that. Look at me. I need a cloud, dude. Like, hook me up here.
So this is the thing. I have to get. I got the one with the dual sided because I actually like a harder mattress because I feel like my back does better on it.
Yeah, me too.
With a little pillow top just to give you that feeling of snuggly. So I don't like too much soft is what I'm getting at. So is this one of those like total soft, like you fall into it type things, or can you get it in the room?
So do you have SoCal, do you have a link you can drop, or are you sending this info to Shannon?
Yeah, are you just teasing or what? Like send it.
No. So here's what I learned about social media. It ain't that I'm trying to keep it from people. I just don't need people are very, very opinionated, and I don't need it on your channel. So Shannon, I will text it to you.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Because I'm just trying to be frugal a little bit, but yet set my driver up for total comfort and success.
If you can, give Wilburn my number too.
Okay.
If you have his number.
I don't have your number. You're good with me having it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I gotta give you guys some updated numbers. I have like 5 phones.
5 phones. You only have 2 ears, dude. How many phones are you talking on at the same time? Jesus Christ. Okay, hold on. Yeah. I just gotta let my dog out the back here. She's at the door. She needs to go pee. I'll be right back.
I have 1 phone just for the Harley, so I can listen to music.
So, Cal, I've been watching you since you were buried in your giant beard, and you were talking about buying used trucks, and you would never ever take your sunglasses off. That's how long, like 4 years ago. I remember that. I was like, he never takes his sunglasses off. And so
I've been on YouTube 7 years, I think.
What was that?
I think I've been on YouTube like 7 years.
Yeah, so when I started watching, it was right at the beginning when I was going to school, and I was listening to everything you said, and I remember that you were never on camera without your sunglasses. So when you got your surgery and all that stuff, and you started, you got the beard was gone, and you had the goatee, and you started like appearing sometimes with showing your face and stuff. Like it was just so great. Like, because I was like, yeah, he didn't have to hide behind all that all the time, because I felt like you were hiding all the time. And so now it's so great to just see your face and your eyes and all that stuff. And I'm just like, what? Why in the world were you hiding all that stuff before?
Well, thank you.
Hey, I got a serious question here. While me and the dog were taking a pee out back, how is it that Shannon Thomas has your phone number and I don't?
I'm Shannon Thomas. What are you talking about?
No, you know what it is? I'll be honest with you. You know what it is? Boobs. I'm kidding. No, it's boobs. That's what it is.
No.
I've been out
we have a completely professional YouTube relationship. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Steve and I were talking about trucking possibilities a while back, and that's when we started to talk, and we were sharing some information. So I've just kept his number ever since then. Okay,
we'll go with that.
As a matter of fact, she has a different number, because when she texts me, I don't recognize that number.
No, this is the same number I've always had.
Oh, your name didn't show up.
Oh, it may have that means you didn't save it underneath my name, because it's a number that's in my daughter's account, I think. I don't know what name came up. It did my business. Now I got 2 phones too, SoCal. I'm almost I'll be there one
Baller. I'm fine.
Yeah. So okay. So which one is this?
You.
No, this account. So this phone is in my daughter's name. So Faith, my daughter, probably came up.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't checked. That's just messing with you.
Shannon,
Oh,
Cheap Trade Hauler wants to know if your new truck is on the road yet. No, it's not yet. She's just finishing up getting the inspections done and a little bit of
yeah, the
work
warranty,
done on it.
the warranty
Warranty
covered
work.
everything, and it should be ready by Wednesday. And then
What did you buy?
gonna be back in my truck by Friday to Detroit, and then I'm gonna drive his truck to him, and then we're gonna swap trucks. Whoop, and then we're gonna be out.
What'd you buy?
A 2021 International LT 625 with a 826 motor in it. Has 311,000 miles on it. The Eaton transmission and an APU, and it's a double block.
She did good.
And so we walked out with 2.5 years factory back to warranty on it. So not too shabby.
What year is it?
A 2021.
It's not under warranty still?
No, it had original factory warranty until August. And then we bought the we bought the 2-year factory back to warranty. So after August, then that's when the 2-year warranty kicks in. So
okay.
We got kind of a bonus warranty time. So yeah, so they just found a couple of things. So from the dealership, we picked it up there, took it up to my shop, to the Whisperer, and he went through it with a fine-tooth comb. He found a couple things he didn't like. So we turned that in, because when you buy those internationals from International like that, the used truck centers, they give you a 30 to 60 day guarantee warranty that anything that's wrong with the truck, they will cover it in the first 30 days 100%. In the days 30 through 60, they cover 50%. So we immediately took it from there, took delivery, and put it in the shop, and had my mechanic go through it completely, and then turn that stuff in for warranty. So we took full advantage of the 100% coverage for the first 30 days. So it's just about to get out of there. So it's been in there about a week, I think. Yeah. And so, and it'll finally be ready to go with How long have I been muted?
I don't know. All I saw was you going like this. You looked excited about whatever you were talking about, but I don't have a clue what the hell you said.
Okay, so I did hear you say Chief Rail Hauler asked me when the truck was going to be ready. Did you hear me start explaining that?
Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't the entire time.
No, we heard all of that, but then right at the end, I lost. Yeah, about 10. TJ's right. About the last 10 seconds, we didn't hear.
Okay. Thank you, TJ. Okay, so the back airbags, there's the round thing that's at the bottom of the airbags. It kind of looks like it goes up into the airbags. I don't know what it's called. I want to call it like a bell housing or something like that. A bell thing. Okay, anyways, one of those has got a big old chip in it like this. And so they're going to replace that. They're going to do all new brakes. They're going to do 2 tires that were not really DOT compliant per se. And so that's covered. And then there's another thing. I forget the name of that, but that's a potentially an expensive repair. So that's good that that's being replaced. The brakes alone, look at the cost of all new brakes, right? That's covered.
Are they doing brakes all the way around or just the rear?
No, because so their guy that does the DOTs down there, well, he does that so they can pass inspection to be sold. So I put it in the shop to have the Whisperer go through it. And he realized, and the brakes were barely DOT when Elvin and I looked at them and checked them out. So we didn't like what we saw, but they could have been DOT. So, and they have to be released from the dealership. So, but when my mechanic got a hold of it, the brakes were cracked. So that made it eligible for full warranty coverage. So yay, he's got brand new brakes.
No, that's you got to remember though, when the dealerships and everything, they're going to DOT safety it, but they're only going to do the bare minimum to get that truck out the door.
Right, and that's
why I myself, I've fallen into that trap before. You know, like I nowadays, if I buy a truck from a dealership, a used truck, I will actually take the truck to one of my people and have them give it a quick look over, because yeah, they're going to go, oh yeah, it's 79,995 with a fresh safety on it. Well, a fresh safety doesn't mean jack, because you know that safety is just the bare minimum to get that truck out the door, and then it's your problem, not theirs anymore. So if
I've listened to you guys always say that, like, if you're gonna, and I think definitely you have said it several times, if you're going to get a used truck, you take it straight to your mechanic.
You do.
And so I did that because I understand they are a sales place down there.
Yeah.
They are not a real shop. So I took it to a real shop to make sure, because I also wanted to have the confidence that I made a good decision.
No, absolutely. And so, any reputable dealer or anybody that's reputable that's selling you the truck should have no problem with you. Yeah, I need the truck for about 4 hours. I'm just going, here's where I'm taking it, and they're going to look over it. And if they say yeah, then hey, you know what? We can probably close this deal. Right. But if they go, well, no, we can't have you doing that. Well, to me, that sets alarm bells off and sets up a red flag. Right. What are you hiding?
So I figured with as many checks I could put in place that I understood that I because I had to buy the truck sight unseen because I was on the road.
Right.
I really had to depend on my salesman for a lot, and he really did come through for me. So I was very happy about that, but still there's that risk, right? Like, what are they not telling me, right? So that's why I thank God I have the mechanic that I do, because he cut no corners at all. And
I got burnt very badly with that. I was very much like you. I was on the road. We needed to replace a truck. It wasn't a matter, and time was of the essence. And I was on the road, and it was I'm signing the checks, right? And that's the way it works. And I'm purchasing and everything like that. But I had to rely on, say, the driver and Dar for what she could possibly do and whatnot. And believe me, I paid dearly for it, because I ended up, buying the truck. I wasn't able to get it off site to get it fixed or checked and everything. And it bit me in the ass so bad that, the good price on the truck, but if I got to put another 25,000 into it in the first 25 days, of shit that I'd missed, because I wasn't there to visibly check or visibly do the things that I wanted to do. So it came back to bite me hard. It really did.
That's why, like, I really am I'm happy about the used truck center and that guarantee that they offer, because even if, right, so it didn't even mess with the warranty that I purchased. This is just what their dealership, they give a guarantee. So they're going to stand behind that truck at least for the first 60 days.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, okay, well, worst case scenario is the truck takes a little bit of time to get on the road because they're going to have to fix some stuff.
You know what? I'd rather have the truck sit there and get fixed properly, so that by the time you stick Alvin in it and he's ready to go, you've bumped yourself into a much higher chance of success.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so if anything else happens from here, to get it in there early and right away, right? It's covered. Yeah. First 30 days is 100%. The next 30 days is 50%. So I'd rather get it in. We'll get it tip top, and then he still has 45 days to drive it and wait for something else to happen.
No, that's excellent. That's excellent.
Then the warranty that we bought, right, will cover anything that this might not cover. Still, so
I wish we had more dealerships up here that would stand behind their products like that, because because you're buying from an international dealer, but a lot of dealerships, like I can go over to the Volvo dealership in Kingston, or I can go to the Freightliner or the Kenworth dealership in Kingston, and you'll go on their used truck lot, and that Volvo dealership will have a bunch of Volvos, but then it'll have Freightliners and Internationals and shit for sale, and they're not willing to stand behind it like that. I wish companies would be willing to do that, or at least give you 30 days. They won't even give you 30 days. You drive it off the lot. The second you cross that sidewalk, it's your problem, man.
Well, if I would have bought it from a dealership, I
Yeah.
would have faced that.
Yeah.
Because I bought it from International's own used truck center.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling you guys and everybody out there in the chat. The difference is that used truck center is there to move those used trucks even to the public, even to the dealerships.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a dealership that I was speaking to actually brought me the same truck that Scott from the used truck center brought me at that price. A dealership salesman who was still out there looking for what I wanted brought me the same truck at $30,000 more. It was the same truck.
Yeah.
So that's where that's why I call it like, that's kind of, to me, that's I'm buying it whole from the wholesaler instead of the dealership who's going to go get it from the same place and mark it up and maybe not give me that warranty. Because I'm buying it direct from International themselves, they are selling me a factory backed warranty for 2 years, and they can offer that promise. So I think that's freaking great. I feel like
that's amazing. That's amazing. That's a no-brainer. If you can walk yourself into a deal like that. Unfortunately, up here, we don't have a lot of we don't have like an International place like that does, that supplies all the other dealerships and is open to the public. That's up here. It's called the auction, right? Yeah. It's called no
warranties and there's no guarantees.
There's no warranties. Yeah, it's buyer beware. Because I can look at a truck at the Ritchie Brothers auction, like 200 miles from here up in Canada. I can go on there and look at, say, 70 trucks that are up for sale. And then a week later, I can look at all the scattered dealerships around and find all 70 of those trucks, probably all in a dealership lot. And you're screwed, right? It's buyer beware. Once you get it off the lot, it's your pocketbook that's going to pay for it.
Right. So I feel like as a first-time buyer, as a female, as my first experience doing this, and not having to ask Jeff to go shopping for me, because I really thought that's how it was going to go, that Jeff was going to go out and have to do all this for me.
Yeah.
I feel pretty great that it all worked out the way it did.
No, you done good, girl. You done good.
Buy a truck on my own for the most part. I mean, he was there to hold my hand or answer any questions if I felt like I didn't understand something, but the salesman was so good and honest with me. Like, I just kind of it was a great experience especially for my first experience where somebody could have totally railroaded me, or I would have had to call Jeff and be like, this guy is talking a bunch of crap. I need you to come in and rough him up or whatever. Cause Jeff is the best negotiator. Jeff is the best negotiator and knows how to buy trucks all day long. So I really thought that that's how it was going to go. And I was just going to watch and learn, right? Watch and learn with him. And but I'm so glad that it just I was trying to be a big girl on my own and do what was best and just include him in it, but not have to depend on him for it. And I think that I did okay.
Well, you know what?
And my mechanic confirms that my salesman was largely responsible for finding that truck and picking out the best one for me and presenting it to me. But my mechanic even conferred. He said, you got a really nice deal here. And I said, cool.
Well, you just learned by baptism under fire is what you just did. And no, that's fine, because I can probably guarantee you that you did it yourself and you're proud of yourself and good job, good girl. But in the event you ran into a hitch, you knew Jeff had your back.
Yeah.
Right. You knew Jeff had your back. So that brings the stress level on you down. It's like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is what we've got to spend. This is what I want to buy. These are the questions I'm going to ask. But if I run into any problems, I've got the big man who's got my back here. And that's nice to have. A lot of us guys out here, we don't have that.
Honestly,
I wanted to go buy a new truck tomorrow. They're not going to help me out with any of that. Although if I wanted to buy a brand new truck, the owner of the company came to me last year when he bought 14 new Peterbilts. And he says, if you want one, let me know. I'll just order a 15th and you just buy it off of me. He wasn't going to finance me. I had to have my own financing, but I could get his purchase price on the truck which was about $45,000 less than if I walked into Peterbilt and bought it. So,
Right. Right.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't though, because every single one of those trucks has spent more time in the shop. All those they're all 2023s, and they're the new 579s, and all 14 of them have been in the shop more than they've ran. I'm glad I didn't buy one. My Cascadia is still getting better fuel mileage than all of those trucks, and it's been in the shop like never. It's in the shop right now, but that's not a mechanical. That's a fuel tank's had a hole in it, so that's different, right? But mechanically wise, my truck has outperformed. My 2020 Cascadia has outperformed every single one of their brand new 2023 Peterbilts. And I say that proudly because people laugh at me, oh, cheap piece of shit Freightliner and this. It's like, you know what? That Freightliner has been nothing but a printing press for money. It has been a print.
Right. And had I not, I do wish they would fix the one box thing, thing, because one thing I do value, I love my Detroit. I love my Freightliner. I loved all that so much. And it was so hard for me to get away from it because it was a great machine for me. I got lucky at DART. I got a great, great truck, which a lot of people don't get.
Yeah.
And so I took very good care of it. I gave it the top of the line. I spent all my maintenance money on that truck because I planned on bringing it out to light trucking and finishing my lease and all of that. So I babied it very much. And so the only issue I have today after now having a different truck is just that with my international, if something in the what's called the one box on a Freightliner, right?
Your DPF system.
Yeah. So in my unit in the international, it can be opened and fixed the part that breaks or needs to be replaced. And that's what Freightliner doesn't do. They lock it in a box and the whole box has to be replaced. That's my only qualm about it.
$19,000. If I have to replace the one box on my truck, it's $19,000.
Yeah.
Are you shitting me? $19,000. I'm like, holy crap.
And so the warranty I have covers that whole system as well. Thank God. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? So it's just like, but do I love Freightliners? Absolutely. I'm a fan.
You know what? If eventually, and I'm not saying we are, I'm just saying if in the future I bought another brand new truck, I'd probably go with another Freightliner. They're the best truck bang for buck, right? Yeah. They're the best truck bang for buck. They're aerodynamic. They're fuel efficient. The 15-liter Detroit engines are great engines.
I don't believe that motor will ever let you down. I really don't.
Well, so far to date, I've owned the truck for 3 years. It was 8 months old when I got it, and I've owned it for 3 years. And I think I've replaced the water pump warranty. I've replaced both the inlet and outlet knock sensor warranty and the DPF pump warranty. That is it. Otherwise, I'm doing heavy haul with it right now. And that truck is still, I'm pulling over 100,000 pounds grossed out, like 102 to 105,000 pounds. That truck's still doing 6.9 miles per gallon, which is phenomenal. Shannon, when I quoted out these lanes, I estimated that my truck would probably be running at about 5.5. And that's where I quoted. So when I had the fuel mileage built in, I'm actually doing much, much better on fuel. And you know what? It's a great truck. It's comfortable. Is it as comfortable as a T680? Oh, hell no. Come on. Is it as comfortable as your Diamond Package LT? No. But no, it's not. But I have no shame in that. You know what? I like the fact that, bang for buck. For the amount of money I wanted to spend, this truck has paid for itself probably 3 times over right now.
Yeah. And I will say that my truck is heavier, right? That EPU that I have has a 400-pound weight.
Exemption.
I can't think of the word.
Exemption. You have a 400-pound weight exemption.
Yes, a 400-pound weight exemption for that unit. And obviously, my Cummins X15 is freaking gigantic and heavy. The truck is heavier built body-wise. Right. So I will not see your fuel mileage. I will not see the fuel mileage I was getting into the Freightliner. On average, even today, I've told you this before, but even today, all the heavy loads, and I haul a lot of heavy. All the loads put together, all the miles on the truck put together, I'm still at a solid 7.4, and I think it's going to stay there. I think that's
I think you could do better. I just think that you like to go faster than you necessarily need to go. You know, you like speed. You know, don't get me wrong.
Warlord's in here.
I don't know what I said. Do I say something? No, but you know, my truck will run. You know, my truck will run as fast as I want it to. It's just that I'm disciplined with my speed. I live on cruise control. I absolutely live on.
That's fine, but I run my business on compounding time, and so I'm running spot market loads, and they do set a lot of times, especially here lately, they're setting tight appointments and things like that. So a lot of times, and I'm telling the truth, I'm not just trying to be funny. A lot of times I have to manage my time, and I have to go the speed limit to meet that window that they have set, because I can tell they've set their math on that.
I hear you.
So I will go the speed limit. Now, I do not speed, for the record. I do not go over the speed limit. I just go the speed limit.
Right.
And so all fun and games aside, like, yeah, I'm driving faster than
I got this thing going on with my chest right now, and I'm listening to you, and it's bullshit. Sorry. Bullshit. Oh, I feel much better now. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
listen here. Look at.
First of all, you can't go faster than me because you're running 80 million pounds of ingots. So, you know,
I'm not talking about now, but I've only been running 80 million pounds of ingots for the last 6 months. Before that, I was on the spot market just like you, running a van, pulling a van, just like you, with, you know, and I'm loaded out to 80,000 pounds, just like everybody else, you know, maxing out 80,000. And, you know, through discipline and fuel economy and whatnot like that, my truck runs 8.5 because it's got 530,000 miles on it. So it used to run into the 9s, but I'm still running 8.8 miles per gallon.
Yeah, that's great.
So, you know, and I have, you know, I got appointments to make. My appointments are just as important and just as tight as everybody else's. So how is it that I can run a truck, you know, and I can make my fuel mileage? And, you know, here's an example. I'll give you an example. Like my truck makes, you know, whatever I spend in fuel, and I get my fuel surcharge every week. Now, my fuel surcharge is usually more than I spend in my fuel. I actually make money on my fuel.
That's
right?
Great.
Why is that? Why is that? I'm going to tell you honestly. Do I have a Detroit? Yeah. Are they good on fuel? Yes, they're excellent on fuel.
Yeah.
But that aside from that, that takes up about 10% of why I get the fuel mileage I get. The other 90% is simply like driver discipline. Time management and driver discipline, man.
Okay, one more defense on my behalf, because
hold on. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
The heavy loads, I cannot even go the speed limit 90% of the time. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not doing that all the time because I can't. A lot of times I'm in the mountains over in Pennsylvania. I got freaking 44,000 pounds on there. You know, I can't go the speed limit. I got people passing me because got to turn my flashers on, even going up these little slopes and whatever through Ohio.
Okay.
So I don't want anybody to get the picture that I am constantly going full speed, because I'm not. My loads don't allow it. Okay. But yeah, on a light load, I'm going pretty good. And I'm getting 8.5, you know, with the light load.
Well, 8.5 is respectable. Like we're in a time and age now. Like 3 years ago, you know, your truck had to run 7 miles per gallon or you were losing money. Right now in today's industry, with the way fuel is and rates and everything like that, if your trucks are not running, you know, better than 8 nowadays, it's actually, you know, you're not really making all that money.
You got to put more strategies into place. you're
Well,
going to,
you can only cut your bottom line or put as many strategies into place as you possibly. Eventually, you're going to run out of strategies, and the end of the day is you're going to have to take your foot off that pedal and use your cruise control. Like my cruise control is like that button on the cruise control button on my truck is worn out. You can't see that. It's from
no, mine is too. I cruise at those speeds.
That thumb is my cruise control thumb. I don't even have fingerprints on that thumb anymore from hitting that button on my cruise control.
Yeah, I'm always in cruise control because I have my Jake brake turned on, and I literally, I was laughing the other day because I'm like, I'm literally sitting here like I'm playing a video game sometimes. I don't really I try not to touch my brakes, and I try not to touch my gas pedal. I literally am doing a lot of steering wheel control. So
yeah,
because I cruise a lot and use that cruise control. So I do stay at a steady state of movement so that I can try to save fuel by staying steady, right? You know that saves you fuel too.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm big on
our biggest fuel expenditure, or the fastest, is accelerating, right? When you're accelerating, usually from a stop is when you're going to burn the most. But once you get a truck up to speed and you maintain that speed, then your truck is literally just sipping on the fuel to maintain that speed, right? And like my truck, I'm sure your truck has it. I've got like the E-Coast, right, where it kicks out of gear when you're rolling down the hills and up and down, all that kind of shit, right? And I don't know how much that saves me, but it probably saves me, a couple $100 a month.
It does, because your foot's not on the gas going down those hills.
Exactly. Right? It does. Like I said, again, the cruise control takes care of all of that for me. So I really don't have to worry about that.
So I'm gonna take a second and address some comments. Some people from my channel are trying to talk into the discussion. Fate Truckin' popped in on Wheel Burner's channel. IH Guy says crack brake shoes don't pass DOT inspection, at least not here in Ontario.
Oh,
and thank God, because that's what got warranty coverage. So I'm grateful for that. When they told me that, I was really happy because I didn't want to spend, what is it, $1,700 for a whole brake job, more.
Yeah.
Snorlord is in both of our channels.
He's just jumping back and forth, making himself known.
Yeah, and Sterling Wheel is in my chat saying, "Where am I?" And so is Snorlord OG. Says we're in purgatory. Tolga says at a planet called Earth. I'm tired of Earth, Sterling says. Tolga is banned over really, really sucks jokes, he says. Mr. B's and T's is in. Saying, I hope that a cracked brake does not pass anywhere in the world. None of that is good. Right. Truckin' with T-Bone said he even had 10 days to report any issues with his truck, that he bought a used truck, and that's a Freightliner. And he said they took care of what I had found. Snorlord OG says Shannon owns 2 trucks now and is able to stay home now. That's awesome.
Dig. Dig.
Yeah. So yeah, it does allow me a little bit more breathing room. So, that was another reason that I thought the move would be good. Sterling Wheel says it takes 2 trucks to visit home. Truman H is in the house at my channel saying, how much did you put down? Truman, I did not put anything down. I paid the whole truck there and financed it through an SBA loan. And so that was great. It's a great interest rate. And so I was able to just go pay the dealership cash for it, I guess.
And Shannon, is the SBA loan, is the interest rate lower than market, or is it at market?
So I know
right now that the interest rates here, like for example, if I walked into Freightliner right now and then went to my finance girl to get financing on a truck, we are in Canada right now, we are anywhere between 8 and 11% interest.
Okay, so this is probably comparable because the way it reads in the contract is that it's 2% plus prime. So right now in the US, that is approximately 10%.
Okay. So
Okay.
It's on par.
Right. So that could fluctuate. We have to understand that. It
Yeah.
is a term loan. Okay. So that means every quarter the interest rate is reevaluated.
Okay, that was my next question. Okay, so that if the rates drop, you're going to pay, the rate on prime will come down. You'll just pay. So if it comes down, say it's at 8%, say it comes down to 6, you're only paying 2% on top of the 6 instead of the 8, correct?
Yep. Yep. Or it could go up.
It could, well, you know what? That's the nature of the business, right?
Right.
Right now, I cannot, right now, well, being here, I cannot see interest rates going much higher, right? Only because in Canada, they'll run the government the government right out of the country if the interest rates get any higher here.
Okay, well, we're victims down here, so who knows? But we have structured everything involved accordingly to handle fluctuations.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Humberto put here like is 8%. Like he paid 8% for that truck. Now here's an example of the difference. Okay. When I purchased this truck, right, it's no secret. I bought the truck from ET Transport, right? I was working for them at the time, and I was on their channel and everything. And the ownership there threw me a real solid. They sold me the truck. It was only 8 months old. It wasn't ready to be sold. It's not one of their trucks that they were selling, but I wanted that particular truck, and they made an exception. They did it for me. I went to my finance people, and the interest rate on my truck right now that I paid right now until the truck's almost paid for, but it's 5.25%. So from 3 years ago to now, 5.25% to 8%. Now, 8% right now is if you've got great credit rating, right? You've got a great credit score and you're in good standing. You can be upwards of 11%. You got a credit score.
Here it's 15.
Okay, so
When
think about
talking to my salesman, because I wanted to compare if I was able to get financed by Navistar, or using this deal, right? Because 10% sounded high to me.
Yeah.
But he told me, he said, Shannon, if you had $30,000 down right now and you applied to get financing through Navistar, being a first-time buyer, he said you would pay no less than 20% in interest charges or more. He said, you getting 10% is amazing. He said, do it that way.
Yeah.
He was very honest with me. He could have not told me that. He could have run my financing through. He could have done anything. But like I said, the salesman was absolutely impeccable from day one with me. So I appreciate him so much. But yeah, so he let me know, like, no, even if you had a sizable down payment, your interest rate is going to be stupid.
Well, that's another thing that people don't think about, though, when they're financing vehicle or financing trucks. If you're a first-time truck purchaser, even with a great credit score, you're still going to pay more in interest because you're still a high risk for them, right? Like, whereas I've used pretty much the same people to finance truck after truck after truck. Like literally, like to finance this truck, I just pick up the phone and made a phone call. Right. Like that's just because I've done it so many times. Right. But I get a 5.25%. But if I would have been a first time buyer, never bought a truck in my life, my interest rate probably would have been about 7.5%. And I would have had to go through the rigmarole of, you're going to supply 3 years of your taxes, your corporate taxes and all the shit and all the stuff.
Oh, I had to do all that. I had to do all that.
I have to do that. Like I said, I can call my girl and I can just say, okay, this is what we're looking at. This is the ballpark we're looking at. This is, I've got X amount. This is what I've got to put down on it. Like, give me some numbers here. She'll take an hour or so, call me back and say, yeah, okay, go. What's the dealership or where are you getting it from? Like in this case, it was ET, it was Ronin. So my people just called Ronin and the finance department over there, and bang, the whole deal. I was driving the truck in a day and a half. Done.
So let's take you back in time to where you were in my position of sorts, and it was your first time.
I remember it like it was yesterday, Shannon. I remember
So
I was
I
like,
want to hear about your first
"Here,
purchase. And
hold on one second.
how you felt. Are you going potty?
No.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna catch up on some comments just for a second.
No, here, look. I just wanted to grab this off the wall. This here is the very first truck I ever bought. And this is me.
Hold on, bring it over.
Notice there's no gray hair.
Okay. A day cab?
That is my very first truck I ever purchased. Yeah. Right. So that truck back then, that was 2003. 2003. That would have been 2003. That was a 2002 Kenworth T8 800. That truck was $45,000. I knew nothing about truck financing, obviously, my first time, right? I knew nothing about trucks other than, I've driven them. I've driven them for all those years, and it was a mixture of being super excited and scared to death. And I'll be honest with you, I think the scared to death was probably significantly higher than the excited. I was excited because, yes, I wanted to do what I wanted to do and get where I wanted to be, but I was scared to death for two reasons. A, I've never been an owner operator, and what if what if I fail? Right? What if I fail? And the second thing is,
so that was right at the beginning of your owner operator career?
yes, that was the very first truck. What if I fail as an owner operator?
Yeah.
Scared to death that I would fail, and scared to death that I knew nothing about I'm dealing with this guy, and there's, back then, $42,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah, and there wasn't any Google reviews to help you out either.
So for me to be going out on a limb, and I bought that. I borrowed the $5,000 I put down on it. I borrowed that from Dar's mom. Believe it or not, I borrowed that from Dar's mom and dad. So I was scared there that if I failed, now I'm gonna look bad in her eyes, and I'm now gonna owe her $5,000. Walking through those steps, like back then, I remember it like the butterflies. And I'm standing there in the office, and we're dealing with all the paperwork. And back then you had a mound of paperwork like that. Sign this, sign that, and like you're not reading fuck all. You're not reading anything, right? Sign here, and it's like I was terrified. Now I was terrified. Now, luckily for me, it worked out for me with that truck. That truck worked out for me. And
that was the used truck?
That was a 1-year-old used truck. It was actually, that truck was about 18 months old when I got it. I wasn't brand new. And yeah, so was I scared? Oh, you're damn right I was scared. Did I have butterflies? Yes. But was I excited for the new adventure and what was ahead of me? Like I'm making it sound like, oh yeah, we're going to a new school. But no, it's like, was I excited about what was ahead of me and the prospects of and the challenge? The challenge ahead of me? Yes. I was willing. I was looking for the challenge. I was accepting. Guard dog, I'm going to kick you right in the pills. Anyway, was I accepting of the challenge? Yes. Do I have that feeling now? No. Now it's just a truck, right? It's like going to buy, it's like going to buy a new car.
Well, right. So you're seasoned. You've experienced truck problems before. You've managed it.
Everything that you're going through, buying this truck. All of us went through it on the very, very first truck purchase, right? These things ain't cheap. You're not going in and walking into the store and buying a pack of cigarettes, or I'm not going into the place and buying a couple of cigars. You're dropping major coin. $42,000 back then, probably like spending $150,000 today. That was 22 years ago.
And I bought 2 trailers, so it's not just the truck price.
No, exactly. So
to me, it's like, okay, I just bought 3 houses in Flint because that's what they cost here. Like as much, I mean, $20,000 will buy you 4 houses in Flint even. Like I just bought a neighborhood as far as like, you know what I'm saying? But always, especially being a female, is a challenge because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like big boy stuff. This is like, I've never owned something like this before. I've never bought something like this before. I am not a mechanic myself. I have a mechanical knowledge of things from my father, but this is not what he did. Like, I can work on a car all day long before I can fix a semi truck or, all this stuff. This is just me getting to the next thing and walking in it and learning it by experience, and right, it's all of that. And
Yeah.
so
Now the benefit that you have that a lot of us didn't have is, again, and I've said this 3 times, I was like, you've got a really good guy holding, he's got your back. He
I can't thank God enough.
he really does. And you know that Jeff has your best interest at heart. When I bought
Jeff is not afraid
when I bought that truck, all I had was, I didn't even have the contract. The contract that I was buying the truck for wasn't even solidified yet. I actually gambled on the fact that contract was going to happen. And I had the truck bought and in the driveway before I had the contract. Now it worked out, right? It worked out. But
you were playing roulette, right?
Oh, I was. And you want to talk about, shitting your pants for the first, like the week that it took a week to wrap that deal up. So for a whole week, and plus I was still working, driving a company truck for the company. So for an entire week, I was a complete basket case. You think I'm a basket case now? Oh, good Lord, man. You should have seen me doing that deal. And it was actually from there, it was like, because I only kept that for a short time. There was I bought that truck because the contract, and it was really lucrative, but I had no intention of staying off the highway. I was going to go on the highway and go back on the highway. So from there, then I bought my second truck, right, which was a 386 Peterbilt, right? That was in 2009. I bought a 2008 Pete. And then
Did
from
you
there,
that in for that truck?
The great thing about these the Kenworth day cabs is they retain their value even back then. So I sold that, believe it or not, I sold that truck for exactly what I paid for it 2.5 years later.
Fantastic.
Right? So I got, everybody goes, oh yeah, owner operators have to be this. You know what? Every once in a while you get lucky.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that, everything that I've got has been by my own doing. I've caught a break now and then. Every once in a while, luck's on your side. So, I sold that. I got the Pete. Then from the Pete, I got the Mac to the Freightliner. Well, then I started having multiple trucks, guys working for me. Then I had the Volvo. Then I had the Kenworth, the W9. Then I've got this one. So the progression of trucks has gone on and on. So, but I'm sitting here going, yeah, I remember the guy who actually sold me the truck was the salesman of the truck. I've kept a relationship with him. He now works at another dealership where I bought the Volvo. So when I bought the Volvo, I walked in there and there he was. I'm like, son of a bitch, So I had a relationship. I had a relationship with him. So we made a good deal on the Volvo. It was another one of those. I was in the right place at the right time. Yeah. With the Volvo. It was a brand new truck. It was a brand new 2014. This Polish guy walked in and he bought it. He decked it out, every option on it. He turned around. He drove it for about 6.5 months. And then unfortunately, his dad was killed in a car accident over in Poland. And he had to go home, right, to take care of his mom and everything. He literally drove the truck onto the dealership at Sheehan's in Burlington, gave him the keys and said, bye, got on a plane and left them hanging. Right, left the dealership hanging, and so the general manager of the dealership knew that I'd been truck shopping, made a phone call and says, "Hey, this just rolled in. You want to come take a look at it?" 4 days later, I was in it. Talk about luck, right? Right place, right time.
That's what happened with the Pretty Penny. Like we were looking for a used truck, and the salesman and there were no new trucks to be bought off a lot at the time, if you remember.
Yeah.
You had to order them and wait in line and all that. Well, this truck was a spec'd out truck from an owner operator who did not take delivery. And
Yeah.
so the salesman, while Mr. Like is shopping for a Freightliner for me at an international dealership, he's looking to see if there's anything I want to pick out. The salesman's like, when he's talking about warranty, the salesman says, Mr. Like, I know you're probably not interested, but come in, I got to show you this, right?
Yeah.
And so here we are. So, and the warranty's the best. Like, so it just so happened there was one hiding back in the corner that somebody didn't take delivery on, but man, is it specced out perfectly.
Yeah.
Like, kudos to that guy. Thank
You know,
you.
I seem to fall into these, right? I no, unfortunately, my Volvo was plagued, right? The 2014 year models for those things were horrible for electronic problems. But aside from that, and I blew the motor up out of it. So I had to stroke a check for 48 grand for that. But, you know, when I was ready to get rid of that, I went and bought the W9. I was looking for a pre-emission W9. I didn't want any of it. I fell into that. I mean, literally every truck I've bought, I fell into. And then, you know, when I was ready to flip the W9, I sold the W9 for $5 grand more than garage doors opening. Sorry. I sold the W9 for $5 grand more than I paid for it. On top of that, the guy who bought it from me was out in Nova Scotia. He paid me $1,500 to drive it out there to him. And I did that. And then all of a sudden, you know, I'm making a deal with Ronan. So I paid about 20,000 under market value for the truck. Like I said, they threw me a big solid. And, you know, again, I had, you know, an 8-month-old truck and I was doing really, really well. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Hold on. Dar's just got to put the dog in the car. So the dogs go to the, come on.
Okay,
puppy.
I'm going to hit comments.
Come on. Yeah, come on.
Okay, Snowlord OG says the Pete dealer in my town is bulging at the seams with trucks. And Umberto says, Brian, I don't know, but my 579, I was doing way over 9 miles per gallon, and I can prove it. Don't know what engines they have there, but I was doing 9 and more. Sterling Wheel says, channel member, by the way, it says West Coast is flooded with trucks for sale. Yeah, haven't been over there yet, Sterling. Cheap Freight Hauler says, Snorlord and Pete dealer in Nashville has had a large group of 579s for almost a year. Yeah, I've seen a lot of Kenworths, the T680s and those Peterbilts. Just, I've seen lots that have been so flooded with them that you couldn't even pull in there. T-Bone says they're okay. Umberto says, yeah, Shannon Freightliner used one full box. Cummins and PACCAR is independent. You can change only the filter if you want. Way more easy, which I appreciate very much. Comfort. Snorlord, the Metalhead Viking Caveman Trucker says, comfort makes can man soft. Wolfpack is in the house saying, no, Santa, what happened?
Close this when you go.
Umberto says Cummins are nice, but fuel miles, you don't get that is the problem. You will not get over 8. That's okay. I've learned to adjust my business accordingly to what I'm getting, right? That's what you have to do. Snorlord says that Shannon equals Leadfoot. Thanks, Wheelburner. See what you've done now. Chief Freight Hauler says, Shannon, do you know what the factory built weight is on your truck? I do not, Chief Freight Hauler, but I will try to get that number for you. All I know is them doors, it's heavy, solid doors and body on that truck.
Yeah, your truck, when you close the door on your truck, it's like closing the door on like a 57 Chevy. It makes that thud noise, you know. It's, my truck, you get a little click, you know. Your truck sounds like it's made of cast.
It's like maybe steel to aluminum.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Somebody asked who asked this question. Santa, how fast does your sleigh go?
As fast as you want it to, baby. As fast as you want it to.
Chief Freight Hauler says, ever waited at Bobtail full of fuel? No, but I will, just for you. Chief
Didn't
Prayer
you have
Holler
to
says,
do that? Didn't you have to do that for your permits? Like up here, in order for me to get like my truck plated for the license plate, you have to hand in a scale ticket fully fueled. You didn't
oh,
have to
I
do
didn't do that personally. Maybe Jeff did before I got my hands on it, though. I don't know. Chief Freya Holler says, last international I drove had a sticker on the visor of the factory weight. Okay, it's probably there. I just haven't like looked at that. Mr. B says, good girl, never admit anything online. I probably admit too much. Sterling Wheel says, the last LT I saw, like Shannon's, has on a scale weighed 21,006 pounds. I will tell you this. With, let's say, at least a half a tank in my thing, and all my stuff, and my dog, and myself, my truck and trailer, my trailer empty, weighs 34,000 pounds. That's my rig. That I do know, because that I have weighed before. So I know how to book my loads. Like I have to allow for 34,000 on my rig and then go for whatever the weight of the thing says.
Right. I do my best whenever I'm picking up. Like whenever I'm doing a pickup, I always try to, if I can, try to pull in. If I know I'm going to be scaled, I try to pull in with full tanks. Right. That way, when I scale in at the facility, they know that, okay,
they
you've
don't
only
put as much weight on your truck. Right.
It's a little more important, I think, when you're doing flatbedding, but because a lot of those weights aren't as precise as they are with a van. But yeah, I always try. And then even then, I've always emphasized to everybody, how much does a gallon of fuel weigh? Does anybody know without Googling it?
I know how much it weighs. It weighs 8 pounds.
Yeah, it weighs 7.9 pounds, right? So it's like 8 pounds. And people should know that, because what happens is the day is going to come, you're going to roll into the customer and you got a quarter tank of fuel and you haven't had a chance to get fuel, and you roll in and they load you out and you're 79,600 pounds. That means you've got 400 pounds to play with. Well, how much fuel can you can't fill the tank, so you're overweight.
No, you can only get 40 gallons.
You need to know exactly how much fuel you can put in your truck, right? A lot of people don't think.
I've ran those like that even recently, because I was talking about on my channel, like I'm running one of those loads where I can only put like 60 gallons of fuel in at a time.
Exactly. But hence, that's why I try to fill my truck and make sure I'm as full as possible, right? So that I can, when I load, I know, okay, we're loading out to 80,000.
Yeah, and then you can lose weight and save fuel as you go.
As you're trucking down the road, you're dropping weight as you go. So, and your fuel economy should go up. Not a whole lot, but it will go up.
Yeah. So Snow Lord, I see, is being a smarty pants and put a nice little violin emoji in the chat.
Yeah, he put that up there a while ago. It was while you were talking about, I have to climb all these hills and I have to do this, and Snorlord wasn't buying your load of bullshit either. So
Dewana has a question. Do all semi-trailers have tags, like cars and truck tags on them?
Yes.
Well, the trailers, I just bought plates for my trailers, and they're permanent plates. So in that respect, Dewana, the trailers have permanent plates. So no, the answer would be no. But the truck tags, Jeff handled the truck tags. So
yeah, well, with your truck, you got your tags that go on your license plate, right? Every year, those tags. Then you've got your IFTA sticker, your IFTA tag. You've got your New York Hut tag. You've got, so all of that. Yeah, we probably got more tags going on our trucks than most passenger vehicles do. I would think most times.
Yeah. Brian, Umberto wants to know, Brian, what is the name of the permit you have in New York for the 99K?
It's called the Brian Brown Run Around the Scale tag. No, you know what? I don't know the name of it. It's a New York City. It's the New York State overweight. Actually, I've got 3 of them because it permits me to pull 3 different trailers. I can pull tandems, which I'm allowed to take. I can load up to 95,000 pounds. I can pull a triaxle. So that's one permit. And then I can pull another trailer, a triaxle. I can take that up to 114,000 pounds. And then I can pull the quad, which will take me up to 155,000 pounds. So I've got 3 different permits for 3 different weight classes that I want to pull, depending on how much I'm pulling that day, and will determine what trailer. But it basically, all 3 of them are blanket permits. It's a blanket permit. So you pay it once and that's it. It's for life. And each permit is dedicated to my truck and my truck only. So Shannon couldn't come up and I couldn't just take the paper out of my truck and give it to Shannon for her truck and her pull the load. It's permitted. Each permit is permitted to the VIN number of that truck, because I have to measure my truck, weigh my truck, and hand all of that information over to New York State. And then they will issue the permit based on the numbers that I've given them. But it's a permit. It's $1,500, but it's a one-time fee. You don't pay it $1,500 a year. It's a one-time $1,500 fee.
Umberto says on the interest rate topic, he said, I did not pay 8, I pay 6%. Rates are 8 minimum if you have good credit. I did finance with some finance company and they got me same deal. Okay, that's good, Umberto. Sterling says, I hope Dar never hears Brian talk about trucking when he's not on YouTube. Do you talk about trucking when you're not on YouTube to Dar?
No. When I'm not sitting here doing this, unless it involves my truck, like there's something wrong with the truck or something like that, I do not talk trucking in the house. When I'm with all truck talk and business about the truck stop at the front door. It doesn't come in now. And if by chance I happen to, just merrily forget, she has no problem kicking me in the ass, telling me that no, we are not talking about trucking. That's why she hates it when I'm home on the weekends and people are calling, right? Other drivers, friends, or whatever, and she, rightly so. She has every right to feel that way, right? I'm only home for 36, 40 hours. So that time to her is precious. And the time to me is precious too. So I try the best I can. I'm not always successful to leave the trucking business at the door.
Turn it off.
It is, but sometimes it's hard. It's hard to turn.
No, I know. Look, who are you telling? I'm sitting here. Guess what? I missed you guys so much. I'm at home and I'm like.
The only reason we've been sitting here for 5 hours is because Dar's at work. If Dar was home right now, I can promise you right now, if she's taking the dog to the vet, right? So she's probably going to be gone about another hour. So that's just about all I've got left. So when she comes home, I'm done. YouTube is done. Trucking is done. I've got another hour or so. When she gets in the door, we shut it down, and then I go in the house and I become.
Yes, we'll give you back to your wife. Yes, at that point, we'll give you back.
But that's when I have to become husband Brian and father Brian. Yes. There's no wheel burner. Wheel burner's gone, and the truck's in the shop anyway, so it's not even here, so I don't have to worry about that.
So we have a congrats in order because Cheap Freight Hauler announced that tomorrow is going to be a great day. First thing tomorrow, my wife is headed to the bank with a payoff for my truck. So congratulations to
that is such a nice feeling. Making that last payment, or like you've got enough money to just walk in and pay the rest off. That is such a nice feeling. It really is.
Yeah. So high fives, and that's an important milestone. And I can't wait till I can say something similar to that I will be paying off one of the trucks that I have.
Yeah.
Probably the ladder truck, Elvin's truck, because he's chosen to do it in 3 years. So in 3 years, my truck won't be paid off by then. So we'll be paying Elvin's his truck off first. So which is great, because then I feel like then I will be at the point where my truck will be paid down so much that it won't be a problem for me to go then get good financing so I can buy it out.
Yeah.
And then have that bill on my own self, right?
Yeah.
So that's my plan anyways, to get Jeff relieved of this truck, have this truck in my ownership, pass on the red truck ownership to Elvin, so that's all his, and then I'll be self-contained and off and running in that manner with 3 real assets. So 2. I'll have a truck and a trailer.
I got to say, Humberto, why would you go buy a New York State oversized or a heavy permit if you don't need it? It's cheaper for you. It's cheaper for you to just buy one if you're doing a load for that day. It's like $9 or $11. Why would, yes, $1,500 is a one-time payment and it's for the life of the truck, but you probably won't own the truck to get your money's worth out of it. You're not going to own that truck for 15 years, right? Pay, if for you to do it, you do it on a on-use basis. If it costs you $11 for that day that you're going to be running through New York State, pay the $11. It's not worth it. It's worth it for me to do it because I do 2 loads a day, every single day, 6 days a week. So for me, yeah, it's worth it. For you, it's not worth it for you to do. It's not worth it for you to do on that.
There's somebody that said I look like Christina Freeland. Who is Christina Freeland?
That's an insult. That's an insult. We can delete that comment. Krista Freeland is the Deputy Prime Minister of Canada. She's like, would be equivalent to like your vice president. She is probably one of the most hated women in the world. And she is not an attractive woman at all.
Well, that's okay. I've never claimed to be the attractive one.
Well, no, but you're still heads and tails way above Krista Freeland. Let me tell you that.
Thank you, sir. So Mr. B says, I do not see how any new drivers stand a chance in today's world. What do you say?
I disagree with that. I disagree. I think that's the, and I fall into the category as the old school trucking mentality. But I think that, no, I disagree. I think if you're in this business today, you're a new guy coming in, and if you do it, like I say, like if you do it right, come in, get your 3 to 5 years experience as a company driver, learn the lanes, get as much experience as you can, learn as much as you can, learn as many different types, like we were talking earlier, learn some flatbedding, learn some, build your resume. And then if you're ready at that time and you figure you can do it and you've got the financial backing behind you, no, I think you can do okay. You can do okay. Like there's guys right now that we're working with that have made that jump and they're okay. They're doing fine. They're making money. They're not making the money that we were making a few years ago when freight was $5, $6, $7 a mile. But if you can set yourself up, then you can, like I said to Jeff earlier, my truck can run and be profitable if I had to pull a load for $1.75 a mile, $1.60 a mile. I can still pull that freight and still be profitable, whereas a lot of people can't. Right. So if you can get yourself set up into certain positions and get yourself set up to do business a certain way, yeah, you can do okay. And I think I would not discourage anybody right now from being an owner operator or coming into this business. Absolutely not. We need more of it. We need more of it.
I'm going to say something in relation to that because I really I'm just a go-getter. Okay. If you know what you want, if you are passionate about this industry,
yeah.
And I would say this to myself. So that's kind of what I'm speaking to myself, but it may help somebody, whoever's out there in the audience. I don't know, but if this is your dream, it's your dream. And there's always a way to make it possible. You just have to find it and you have to work hard. You're going to have to work hard. And so there's ways, like, especially if you're in these communities, like you'll see how somebody like myself, I came to trucking with nothing and I know a lot of people say you can't do that. Like you can't start with $0. Yeah. I'm a living example. But, and 4 years later, mind you, I've been able to, fortunately, praise the Lord, be in a position where something was offered to me so I could experience it.
Right.
I can't say that's going to happen for everybody. But
No, and
I'm
it,
talking testimony that it can happen and to anyone. And I don't care what you want to do, chase your dreams as hard as you can, because
yeah.
we're only here once, man.
I think a lot of truck
Don't do it.
drivers, and it's just in their DNA, right? Have
You can
that.
buy trucks at $0 down.
Don't tell me that you can't do something. Like, don't tell me I can't do something. Right? That's the worst thing. You ask Darlene, you ask anybody that knows me, don't tell me I can't do something, because I'm going to be like, here, hold my beer and I'm out the door. Don't tell me I can't do it, because I'll take that. And I will do it. I'll do it. And there's been times that my own, you know, I shot myself in the foot to prove you wrong. Right. But I proved you wrong doing it. So
No, I have that same, I have that same thing,
Tell me I can't do something. See what
I
happens.
think that's our drive, Shannon. I think that's our drive to succeed, our drive to be good at what we do, our drive to be recognized, and our drive for money. Like, I'll just face it. I'll be honest with you. I am greedy. I like money. I don't know anybody that doesn't. I enjoy it. It affords certain things in life that I like, the comfort, the way that we live. I think
just bro, look at this.
Wheel burner. I'm not greedy. I spread the money out.
Yeah, but that's after you got your cut too, Jeff.
No, that's even before. You can just ask Shane.
There's always an end game. There's always an end game. Don't you know what? You can't bullshit me as a businessman. Okay, you cannot bullshit me as a businessman. That yes, you're out here and you're.
I can too. You know why? You know why I can? Because I bought my 880 Volvo from Shaheen's in Burlington, Ontario.
It's Sheehan's.
Sheehan's, right? Sheehan's.
Who sold that? Who sold that truck to you? Mike Murphy?
I think so. Back, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, I know. Mike and I are old buds. We go way back.
But that truck was a lease truck.
Oh crap!
And somebody turned it back in, and it sat in the fields for like almost a year.
Yeah.
Then I got it, and I had to fix it.
Oh yeah. Those 880s were terrible. Absolutely terrible trucks. I don't know anybody that had one that ran it successfully.
They were just all chromed up. Mine was all chromed up.
Yeah.
I ran it successfully.
Well, I'm sure it cost you. I'm sure the truck. Well, I'm not sure. I know that those trucks were absolutely garbage. Those 880s. They couldn't make them work in North America because.
Well, I made it work because here's why. This is how I made it work. In America, that same truck, it had just over 100,000 miles on it. Is it had like 179 kilometers, right?
Yeah.
179,000 kilometers.
So 105,000 miles.
Yeah, I was looking. It was a 2007.
Yeah.
And this was, I want to say it was, 11. Maybe it's 2011. I bought her 2010, somewhere in there. But in the States here, they wanted 80 something, almost 90 grand for the same type of truck, but more miles. But I got it from Sheehan's for just over 50,000 American dollars because of the exchange rate. Yeah.
And then you had to pay the import fees to get it over there.
Well, that's another story.
Yeah, usually is.
because it came over, because they imported it, right? So that was there. So the IRS in America they're all over the board. So I went to the office. I asked them what type of fees I owe. They said, what did you get? And I said, well, it's a used truck.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if it's used, there's no fee. I said, but it's coming in the United States. Yeah, but it's used. Okay. So then I called the main line, asked them. They told me the same thing. And then about a year later, after I did my taxes, of course, I get a knock on my calling phone. This IRS, blah blah. Yeah, I need to meet with you. I said, well, just come over to my house. Really? I said, yeah, just come on over. And he come over and he says, man, everybody's trying to dodge me, all these truck drivers. I'm like, no, what's the problem? He said, well, you didn't pay the fee. And I'm like, I called the office and I went up there personally. They said there was no fee because this. He goes, oh yeah, but they don't work in this import business. You know, they don't read the fine print in the bottom of whatever, thing, whatever. And then the guy's like, since you let me in and all this, he said, I'm gonna give you a break. I gotta take something back. And he says, what do you got on that thing? I said, I got an APU. So yeah, well, how much that cost? And I told him. He says, okay, well, what about this? What about that? And he kept going on to where basically it was, basically got it down to almost nothing, right?
Yeah.
Because he didn't have to come chase me down. You know what I mean?
Well, that's a good deal because I think if I'm not mistaken, if you import from Canada, you still got to pay whatever the state sales tax would be, right? Because they still want to collect, because you would be tax exempt if you bought the truck in Canada, right? They can't charge you the HST, which is our provincial and federal tax. So you would probably be exempt. But once you brought it into the U.S. or into the state of Michigan, you might have to pay whatever the state sales tax is.
We have none. We have zero on commercial vehicles. You
do, eh? Okay, so see, that's a huge bonus for you.
So basically, it was a federal excise tax, because then the guy says, well, look, here's what they're not reading, because it says if it's used, you don't have to pay it because it's already been paid, right?
Right.
But in the very fine print, it says the first user in the country, not first user out of, you know what I'm saying? So that's their loophole, right? That the regular IRS agents don't know about.
Right. So you had at least somebody that was willing to work with you.
Well, yeah, that's because I answered the phone and said, yeah, come on over.
Yeah. Well, usually when they call, well, they don't call me very often. I've been audited. I've been audited 3 times in 22 years, which is pretty good in Canada. That's really good. And I deal with a company that does all of that for me. So I don't do my own taxes, my own corporate taxes. I have a firm that takes care of that for me. And when Revenue Canada, which is the same as your IRS, so when they come knocking for anything, I just say, hi, yeah, Brian Brown here. Yeah, nice to meet you. Okay, here, I need you to call this number. And then I hang up the phone and forget about it. They take care of everything.
Yeah, so that's what I do. I just let them in, talk to them. Plus, I knew that I was going to pay something. I said, this can't be right. So, of course, I put that money aside.
Well, that's more than most people do. That's more than most people do. Oh, hold on. Look at this. They're coming back in droves. You got about
Uh-oh. Now you're in trouble.
Yeah.
I just think there's a way. There's always a way. You just got to find it. If you really want to do this and you really want to fight for it, there's a way.
Yeah.
It's never a bad time to get into trucking or business as long as you have a good business plan and you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Well, Jay Breezy wants to know if you can write off your casino losses. He's down about 60 grand. Well, my accountant is pretty lenient with business expenses and entertainment, but there's no bloody way you're writing off $60,000 worth of casino losses. Why don't you'd have a better chance of writing off hookers and cocaine than you would about a $60,000 casino loss. You can probably write off your trip to the casino and back, but you're not writing off your losses.
You write off your loss on the electric vehicles.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What's up, SoCal?
Not too much. Waiting in line to get fuel.
I've always found when it comes to Revenue Canada, when dealing with the tax people, is just play it straight with them. Just play it straight with them. Don't mess around. Don't give them reason to go looking at you. I think that the main thing is just don't be greedy. A good portion of people that I know that have been audited and got in trouble is because they got greedy. They really did. They overextended, or they tried to claim what shouldn't be claimed, and they tried to slip this through and that through. And you know what? We've all been doing this. I know what I can write off. I know what's a legitimate expense. I know. So, as long as you don't get greedy, play it fairly straight with them.
Let me ask you this. Can you write off a paid off truck?
Can you write off a paid off truck?
Yeah.
You can write off everything about the truck, everything it costs you to operate.
Can you write the truck off? Can you write off a paid off truck every year, every month?
I don't think you can do that in Canada. How would you do that there? Because basically in Canada, I would think that your biggest tax deduction would be, your payment, right? Or depending on how you do it. If you lease the truck, then you can write off 100% of the payment. If you don't lease the truck, then say you bought it and you financed it through a bank or whatever, then you can write off the depreciation and you can write off certain amounts, at certain times of year. But once the truck is paid for, when you write off that truck, I guess maybe on some capital gains, there's gotta be something you could probably claim.
And I'm not talking about depreciation either. What do you say, Jeff?
What are you talking about?
You always hear people say, I had to go buy this truck for the write-off because I had a paid-off truck and there's no write-off on a paid-off truck. So, Jeff, can you write off a truck that's paid off every year?
Depends.
We're not talking about depreciation.
You talking about the value of it?
No, the value would be depreciation.
So how do you do it?
So, another learning lesson. That truck, you can put it in a like I have a holding company.
Oh, okay.
So you can put it in a holding company or you can put it in your personal name, and your company can lease the paid off truck, lease it from you as a person, right? And then you can make the payment whatever you want. You can make the payment $3,000 a month if you want, and then now you got a $3,000 a month write off on a paid off truck.
Okay, I didn't think of it in those terms. I was thinking that you own the truck. How do you write the truck off? Yeah, we can. I can do that. I can basically have a second corporation set up, and I can have the truck leased from one corporation to the other corporation, or from this corporation to my main corporation, and I can write off those payments. Yeah, you can set the payments up any which way you want to do. Sure, you can do that. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, that's
the best way to. It's the best way to do it. You're
Well,
the bank.
right now,
Again, you're the bank.
I don't have any paid off equipment right now, so that wouldn't be an option for me. Yeah, Snorlord's right. Lease it to yourself. Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, there is. Jackknife, you're right. There is a calculation to write off the depreciation. It's a certain percentage in the first year, another percentage in the second year, third year, so forth down the line, right?
DIY says it makes absolutely no difference. So you make a payment to your holding company to get a deduction, then your holding company
claim it.
Income do difference at all. Oh, no
Yeah,
difference at all. The money doesn't disappear.
So is the lease payment gonna be more? Are you gonna get more back than what your other LLC is gonna have to claim in income? Because if all you're doing is just swapping one for the other and you're breaking even on both, then it doesn't work. I'm asking because I don't know. I'm assuming I'm hoping somebody in here knows, because what DIY is saying makes perfect sense. Right? If I'm leasing it from one LLC to another LLC, right? So the one LLC is paying $3,000 a month to the other LLC. Well, that other LLC is now getting $3,000 a month as income, and the first LLC is writing off the $3,000 as a write-off. So are you actually coming out ahead?
So would it depend on how much income that holding company is making altogether to determine its tax rate? Since perhaps your trucking company is making a lot more revenue, Maybe
Well,
that
the other holding company could maybe, depends how it's set up, could absorb that that income and break even or even come in at a loss, depending on how that company's set up and what they do. Then they could use the write-off that way.
Yeah.
So then you're making it profitable on both ends,
Well, DIY
depending
says
how
no,
everything's set up.
it's all passed through. If all you're doing is exchanging pennies on one side for pennies on the other, is it actually worth it to you to do that?
Well, it depends if the other company needs a write-off to,
Yeah.
offset losses, right? So that way both companies would benefit.
Yeah. You see, I've always run it in a way that, my truck payment is my main write-off, and throughout a year, a fiscal year, just my operating expenses, my fuel, my payment, my maintenance, and all that. I don't really have any I don't have to go looking for tax write-off. Just my regular business throughout the year. I do well enough with that. I don't need to get that creative. That I have to start doing this kind of stuff. Even if my truck is paid for, I don't think I'd have to do that. At least especially if I think, okay, well, it's $3,000 here to $3,000 there. What's the benefit of it? Okay, well, maybe like you said, one needs a bigger tax write-off than the other. Who knows? I don't know because I've never done it, so I'm speaking out of ignorance.
I apologize, man. People keep calling this freaking phone, bro. I don't ever get time to myself for this shit. Keeps knocking me off the damn live stream. Knocks the headset off. It always does some weirdo stuff. I apologize, man. They're gonna get me cussing in a minute.
Well, you keep this up, Revenue Canada or IRS is gonna be at your door. I'm gonna start taxing you every time I got to push this button and let you in here. There's gonna be a door fee to get in the door here.
So anyway, you can have a corporation that buys all your equipment, and it's always better when you're the bank because you get to charge yourself interest or whatever it is you want. You be the bank.
No, I get you. And to a degree that makes sense. If I had a separate corporation that purchased all my equipment, right? Well, I'm not paying cash. Chances are I'm not paying cash. Say I want to go to the auction and buy 2 trucks. I'm not paying cash for that. I better have like a good line of credit, or I better have finances already lined up and ready to go to cover those notes. So if I'm doing that, let's just say you're using a line of credit. Well, you better hope your line of credit, has an interest rate of say 4 to 5%, and then you're going to charge yourself, say 6% on to lease it from that corporation. Then okay, you're going to make 2% on your note. Is it, again, I ask, is it worth it in the long run?
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. It's all about the red line they pay taxes on, right? Now, it depends on how much you make a year, right? So that all makes a big difference. But it's all about your taxable income, right? So you want to lower it down. You still want to pay your taxes, but,
Yeah, so that's why I was thinking one company is not going to make as much revenue as the other one, right? Your holdings company probably isn't raking in as much revenue as your trucking company would show.
Right.
I would assume. I mean, I think that you, like for mine, I would pay less taxes on that money coming in because it's not the total gross that my trucks are coming in on the trucking company side.
Gotcha.
And I have more write-offs on the trucking company. Yeah, I have to think, but I think that's on the right track. Depending, again, it all goes back to what you're doing with the holdings company too, and how you got that structured.
Okay, so yeah, is it worth it? I guess it is. How about I tell you what? I'll pay my truck off and I'll try it and see how it works.
Suzanne has a question there. You got highlighted. or I got highlighted.
Well, I want to buy a truck. How much money should I pay? And is it possible to repay a loan every week? Depends on how you finance it. You know, if you're going to the bank to finance it, then yeah, you can pay it off every week if you want to. How much should you pay? Well, it all depends on what's the price of the equipment, the year of the equipment, the equipment, the hours on the equipment. Like, there's so many things.
Burner, here's the problem. A lot of these people, you know, guys and gals will go and they'll get a loan, but it won't be for the regular bank. It'll be from like BMO.
Yeah.
Or one of these places, and you got to read those contracts with them because a lot of those say that if you pay off early, you still got to pay the interest or a big payoff penalty.
Yeah.
So they're getting their money no matter what. Whether you pay it off early or not, you're still paying whatever amount they got.
I agree.
Because a lot of people don't read the contracts.
Be
careful you don't get a penalty on that bullshit. That's crazy. But yeah, it's out there.
Every lease, like I lease my equipment through a truck leasing company, a separate leasing company. I've been using the same people for years and years and years. But it's always written into my contract that it's a no penalty payoff. I can pay off my truck right now, and all I have to do is pay off the truck and pay a $1 buyout, $1 plus tax. Is what my truck is. But I always make sure that that's negotiated into the contract. Otherwise, there's going to be a buyout on the end, right? Plus your tax, plus a penalty that you're going to pay, right? Everybody, you know, because they're going to want their interest. They do want their interest. So more interest in repeat business. Want me so they're willing to work with you on stuff like that.
The whole thing, though, bro, is like, your payment, and don't answer this. This is just for you, right?
Yeah.
Do your payment times your whole entire term, and tell me, was that truck worth it? Obviously, every truck is worth whatever you spend because it's what you make. But just think about how much more money you're making extra over that. Like, for example, right now trucks are free, bro. Let's face it, trucks, they're free.
In my SoCal, yeah, it's worth it. Because first of all, I got an 8-month-old truck, so it was still almost brand new. But I got it well under market value, so that saved me a serious chunk there. And I put a hefty down payment down on the truck, so my terms with interest were nowhere near as long or as high as, say, the average going out to buy it. So, and that and as well as because I ran my truck through the corporation with a lease, I write off 100% of my truck payment, plus I get to claim all the tax and interest back anyway. So the way I'm set up with my business, yes, it was worth it. But if one or two of those things that I have in place weren't in place, you could probably pay a whole lot more than maybe not worth it to you.
Yeah, it all depends on how you put it together and how you build it. Now, keep in mind,
it's the deal you negotiate yourself. It really is. If you walk in there and you just accept, and that's a pitfall that a lot of people fall into, is they'll just take the first offer that's offered to them. Right? This is the truck. You might negotiate the price of the truck a little bit, here or there. But when it comes to finance, most people don't realize that that's all negotiable too, right? That when the finance person comes to you and goes, okay, this is the deal we got for you, right? Most people go, oh, that's a little more than I want. Okay, but I'll take it. Well, no, that's not the case. Everything is negotiable when it comes to financing. I've negotiated. I've sent it back to the people several times going, no, I'm not paying that. If you want this deal, you're going to work for it. You're making a commission on this as well. You're going to work for your money. I'm going to make you earn it. And I've done that several times. Sent it back going, nope. Now, do I get exactly what I want? Hell no. But I'm not paying what they're offering me either. And neither should anybody else.
I've been trying to hurry, man, because I got the detail guy on standby. So as soon as we hit the yard, the detail guy showing up to detail the trucks, wash them and detail the inside and all that good stuff.
Well, lucky you. Does he just do the truck, or is he going to detail you as well? Throw a little chrome on that flat bill.
Nah, he's a guy.
Look, I'm not, just what we're talking about here. Like, I'm not the end all. I don't have all the answers here. This is just what I do, right? This is how I'm set up and how I operate. You know, you could do it a whole lot different and it works for you and you make your money. Jeff could do it differently and this is how he's set up and he makes his money. Same with Shannon. Everybody's a little bit different, but I think the idea of what we're trying to do here is to say, hey, you know what? If you're new and you're coming into this, there are options. There are always options. Everybody's doing it a little bit different, and this is why.
There's always a ton of angles, right?
Always.
And the more angles, the more people you have in your pocket to make the money. So in any business, not trucking, in any business, and this is common sense. Do you want to make the interest on your own money or you want somebody else to make the interest on your own money? That's just what it is.
That's a good
People can't
point.
sit back, smoke a cigar, their bosses and all that, and they're financing shit and they can't pay cash. Like, where's that at? Like, you step up as a boss, stand on your 210, and you purchase cash out shit and fucking finance it to your own self, bro. I mean, especially right now, inflation is crazy as hell right now, right? It's crazy.
Well, it is.
So
You look
most folks,
the price of equipment, if you've got the cash on hand to do something like that, with the price of equipment that's down as low as it is right now, that's a good idea. You know, if I had $120,000, $130,000 sitting in cash in the bank right now, I would probably be doing that. I'd be buying 3 trucks and I'd be financing to myself. That's exactly what I'd be doing. I don't have $130,000 in cash sitting in the bank.
my biggest mistake, right? Now, some say I'm crazy, right? Like, I invested $120,000 liquid cash on my toy, which is my Harley, which is my show bike, right? But one of my biggest mistakes is when I put $80,000 down on my motorhome. It was like $400,000. Like, I got some use out of it, but I got bored out of that shit. You know what I mean? To me, that was a big mistake.
Well, yeah, you can't write that off. Or what you can write some of
No,
that off.
I wrote it off, but
Dude,
the whole thing is like, you know, the motorhome shit. I mean, I learned I'd rather go stay at a nice ass hotel,
yeah.
and they do everything than trying to park a fucking 42-foot damn motorhome.
Well, I'm the same way with the house that we got here. It came with a swimming pool. I'll never own another swimming pool. You know, I never use. I'd rather go sit on the beach, right?
Yeah.
I would. A swimming pool is nothing but a hole in the ground to throw money into. It really isn't. So why?
Well, it keeps you wet though. It keeps you wet.
You know what? I can jump on an airplane in 4 hours.
And
Cuba. I can sit on the beach in Cuba and be wet in Cuba with a cigar.
Yeah, but you can't invite all the personal strippers over there to swim naked in their swimming pool, can you?
Yeah, well, yeah. That'll go really well when my wife rolls up and I'm sitting on the deck. I got 4 strippers out there and the music's on. You know, I got 6 daughters. You know, that looks good to them too, right? Look, what's Dad doing over there today? Yeah, okay. That'll fly.
No, it's just a joke, bro. I'm just messing.
I got you.
But yeah.
You know what, guys? I can hear Dar just pulled up. Well, I guess she's back from the vet. So my date, except for I just want to address Snorlord. What a chicken! What a chicken! Oceans have monsters. I don't swim with monsters. You know what? Real men swim with the monsters, man. Real men swim with the monsters. And with that,
I gotta agree with Snorlord, bro. Like I get on the beach, but I ain't going out far, bro. Like dude, I agree, man.
You're telling me you don't paddle your ass out to the beach and swim around and
I go to the beach, but I'm not swimming where I can't see over my head, like over the water. I'm saying.
I love to go snorkeling and all that kind of stuff. I love it, man. There's nothing better in the world. I can't do that in my pool, right? I can't do that in my pool. So anyway. I'm out of here, guys. I got to take care of business at home.
Wilbur, thanks for having me on. I love you.
Love you too.
Thanks for having me, bro.
SoCal, always a pleasure, man. Jeff, thank you so much.
Pleasure's all mine.
Guys, thanks for hanging out with us the last 5 hours and 48 minutes. Appreciate it. Don't know if we're going live tomorrow. Not sure yet. I've got other things. Hopefully the truck will be up and running tomorrow. I'm actually going to go make another phone call here and see what the status is. And with that, guys, I'm out of here. You guys have a good one. See you later.